Chapter 6. The Mice That Ate Iron. Honesty. Words of wisdom. The world is full of people who demand justice for themselves, but will not give out the same to others. In a village, there lived an honest merchant. His name was Rampal. He was very rich and had plenty of money. Due to bad luck, Rampal gradually lost all his money, and after some time he became so poor that he turned to some of his friends for help. He had to sell off all his possessions one by one. In the end, only his pair of scales was left with him. It was very costly. Rampal wanted to go to some other place to start a new profession. For that, he needed money. So, he decided to contact someone who could lend him some money. Rampal had a friend named Sukhiram. Sukhiram was a pawnbroker. He went to him and said,
Sukhiram, my friend, I shall be grateful to you if you lend me some money, as I need it immediately. I shall leave this pair of scales with you. It is worth much more than the amount I want to borrow from you.
Sukhiram was a greedy man. He saw Rampal's pair of scales and found that it was really worth a great deal of money. Sukhiram said,
My dear friend, here is the money. As and when you repay the money, I shall return your pair of scales.
Rampal felt happy. He took the money and left that town the same night. Rampal was a very honest and hard-working man. He started a new business in some other town and soon prospered due to his hard work. After some time, he set out for his hometown. He went to Sukhiram to repay his debt. He said,
Dear friend, I am grateful to you for your help. Here is your money. Kindly return my pair of scales that I had left with.
Sukhiram did not want to return his pair of scales, as he wanted to keep it for himself. He said,
I'm sorry, friend. I don't know your pair of scales.
But why not? What happened to that?
Asked Rampal.
I'm sorry. The pair of scale has been eaten up.
Sukhiram said,
Eaten up? Impossible. I don't think there is any creature that eats iron.
Said Rampal.
Dear friend, believe me, after you left, my godown was invaded by 100 of mice who ate up everything, including your pair of scales.
Said Rampal. Rampal knew that Sukhiram was telling a lie, but he was a wise and intelligent man. He said calmly,
Well, that's my bad luck. You are not to be blamed for it. It is my bad luck that the mice choose to eat iron instead of food.
Said Rampal. Sukhiram heaved a sigh of relief. He was extremely happy as he had never thought that it would be so easy to grab the pair of scales and make a fool of his friend. Rampal said,
Sukhiram, I have just one favor to ask of you. If I want to bathe in the river, as you see, I am having some clothes and other things with me. Will you please send your son to look after my belongings while I bathe?
As Sukhiram was extremely happy, he called his son and told him to go with Rampal. Rampal went to the river along with Sukhiram's son, had a bath and returned to his house. There he locked up the boy and went to Sukhiram's house. Sukhiram saw him coming alone. He said,
Where is my son?
Rampal told him that while he was bathing in the river, he saw many birds flying in the sky.
I don't want to listen such nonsense. Tell me, where is my son?
Cried Sukhiram in panic.
Friend, a hawk stooped down and carried away your son. I could not help it.
Said Rampal.
Are you crazy? Do you think I am foolish enough to believe your story?
shouted Sukhi Ram.
You liar! You cheat! Nobody will believe your story. Bring me back my son, otherwise I am going to lodge a complaint against you to the king and request him to punish you.
Rampal repeated the same story and showed his helplessness. Sukhi Ram complained to the king that his friend Rampal had kidnapped his son.
O king, please get my son back from him. Please do justice.
The king heard Sukhi Ram's complaint and ordered Rampal to give back the son to his father. Rampal said,
Your Majesty, it is true that I took his son to the river, but his son was carried away by a hawk.
The king shouted,
How can you expect me to believe that hawk can carry away a boy?
Rampal bowed to the king and said,
Why not, sir? If mice can eat up a large pair of scales, then a hawk can carry off a boy too.
The king did not understand what he meant by that. He asked Rampal to explain the whole story in detail. When he heard the same, he ordered Sukhi Ram to return the pair of scales at once and to pay a large fine for being so dishonest. The king's order was carried out. Then Rampal returned his son. Justice was done to all. Tit for tat.